I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage. This is the place where we pull back the curtains and we dive into the creative process. And we have all kinds of guests like entrepreneurs and Broadway producers. And today we have fabulous artists, Taty and Sasha from Taty Design Studio. I'm so excited you're here.
Excited to be here.
Now, you're from the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And how long have you been here in the United States?
Well, I was born in Ukraine, in Kiev.
Yes.
But I came here many years ago. I'm not going to reveal my age.
No.
Sorry. But I went to high school here and college.
Here
in the United States, yes.
In Michigan.
Well, I started in Michigan.
And then you did a splash in New York.
Yes, I moved to my parents brought me to New York and my sister, and I went to Parsons School of Design.
Wow.
And
Which is not an easy school to get into.
I'm a New Yorker.
Yes.
I am a true New Yorker and true American.
I
yes.
love it.
But I support Ukraine, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
And Sasha?
And Sasha?
I'm from Ukraine.
Tell about your art. Oh my God, your paintings are so beautiful.
Well, I paint all my life. I started when I was 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother and the whole family felt that I'm supposed to be next Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo.
Yes, of course.
Not to be less.
But you're
no pressure.
You're
no
Taty.
pressure at all.
No.
So I entered a competition to be in, now it's called National Ukrainian Academy of Arts in Kiev. And I was 10 years old. And from that point, I studied professional painting. And we had a very classic style.
You were painting like in oil, right?
Well, we started in watercolor, but then we progressed into oil painting, and then I was, my family actually were refugees because it was still Soviet Union, and my parents could not deal with Soviets and their regime and all this.
You're too free.
BS.
You're too free.
Yes.
You and your
So
family.
My family grabbed. My mom was a doctor. My father was a very great engineer, designer, but they gave up citizenship there. All the possessions was $300. No,
Wow.
Yeah, I feel
like
like
my
emotional.
family too, yeah.
And a suitcase, my sister, myself, and they were so happy. They just took off into
Wow.
the free world. Yes.
Now we're both New Yorkers.
We are New Yorkers. We're true New Yorkers, and
Yeah.
so, and I was painting, actually drawing portraits on the street of New York. The
Oh,
streets.
really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, back
have a famous
back
tradition.
in the near day.
You also did fine art, or art, like you did kind of interiors and things
Well,
like that as
I
well.
started when I came here, because when I was in Italy, when we were coming here, I drew portraits on Piazza Navona and Piazza Hispania in Rome.
I love it.
And
heart's there.
yeah, it's such, I felt like almost like a rush, because first of all, we needed money, and my parents couldn't do what they did, their professions. So I was out there
Painting,
and drawing sketches,
yes.
making, at that time was mille lire, and it was a wonderful feeling, to be connecting with people. And at that time, I was very, kid, but I knew if I start drawing somebody's eyes, I kind of start almost transforming, becoming that person for that moment. So it would be like on my drawing, like you could feel their energy, their
That's what I love about your paintings. And all of these paintings of so many different celebrities, and including me, Sasha, you took a picture of me performing as Rita Hayworth. And I cannot get over how different each of the paintings are and how you've captured from celebrities, you do boxers.
My favorite sport.
Your favorite sport.
Yes.
But the eyes really are captured, and the movement and the energy and the feeling of the subject matter. I love it. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. I just have to say, Queen, I'm so honored, Sasha, also to be here at your show.
Oh, thank
because
you.
when we came to your Don't Tell Mamas, and you transformed into Rita Hayworth.
Oh, thank you.
both of us, we just said, like, I took a breath, and I looked at Sasha, and he's the same, and he's just like, you know, you are a true star.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you have the biggest show one day, that Rita Hayworth's show will be like top of the Broadway.
Me too.
Or
I'm going to
Grand,
London and
or
Thank
Las
you.
Vegas. I don't know, just
Thank you.
grand. Yes.
But your paintings are just every subject matter that you paint. You capture the energy, and it's not always in the same style. We were at. Oh, we have to tell the story about Ambassador John Loeb.
Of course.
We
of
had
course.
an incredible experience 2 weekends ago. We went with your daughter Renee to Ambassador John Loeb's house and his wife, and they graciously accepted us. And you were offering a painting, a portrait that he had purchased that's going to be in an institution or in a beautiful place so everybody can see, about Nick Springer. Do you want to tell the story?
Sure, yes. It's a very, I think, like an epic historic moment for all of us, you know.
And we were there with Errol Rappaport.
Let me tell you, like, from my point,
Yes.
because you were there already when it was gifted, but you know the whole process behind the scenes.
Yes.
You were part of it, and
Yes.
it's like, so for my show, first of all, I want to say that Errol Rappaport is not just, I'm gonna cry.
Oh,
So I get too emotional. Please cut it out.
no. People want to see emotion because your paintings are emotional.
No, really.
And Gary Springer was on the show.
Errol, to me, I call him like my godfather. Yes, I was very close friends with his mom, Frances Rappaport, in the 90s. She was at one point, like my mentor in fashion, because my major was also a fashion designer and illustrator. And one day I met Frances in a beauty salon, in one of the most posh beauty salons in the city.
Of course.
Yeah, she was fabulous, and she invited me to her house, 207th Avenue, Central Park South, and she said, "What can you do?" And it was such a fabulous apartment overlooking Central Park. She said, "What can you do here with these old pieces of furniture?" I used to also restore antiques, so she
And
said,
it was designed by Iris.
Iris Afol,
Afol.
who was a friend of Frances.
Yes.
So the bottom line, I started painting cherubs and flowers on her furniture and making it a part of, so it was organic with her fabulous silk wallpaper.
Oh, beautiful.
Designed by Iris and Frances. And I remember sitting, as they were sitting on the couch with other ladies, and I was painting, and I was like, first I was like very embarrassed, but I was like, okay, I have an audience. That's kind of cool.
Right?
Yeah. And then they were having tea. And I met Errol then, and he was an actor at the time, you know, in Los Angeles, I think in Hollywood, but he came from either south of France or something, and he walked in.
One of those places, Hollywood or the south of France.
And I saw big blue eyes, and I thought, Frances, who is this dashing man? She said, that's my baby boy.
Oh.
That's Errol. So anyway, many years later, you know, Sasha already and I, it was pandemic time, and I'll tell you how Sasha and I met later.
Okay.
But I was spending a lot of time on Google, and one day I'm like, oh my God, I think it's Errol Rappaport, and on Facebook, and Google, Getty Images, Errol is everywhere.
Of
He's there
course.
with Sophie Loren. He's there with not Quinn Lemley yet.
And with Taty.
No, not yet. So I contacted Errol, and we got in touch when we could come out. We were wearing masks.
And you painted his portrait?
I painted his mama, Frances.
Beautiful.
And it was Errol's birthday, yeah? And we came to Manhattan, and we gifted him the portrait.
Oh, beautiful.
And from that point, we're like best friends.
Oh, wonderful.
And so everybody we're meeting nowadays, it's Errol. He's
Right.
like, that's why I call him Godfather.
Yes, and so tell about Ambassador John Loeb.
Ambassador John
This
Loeb.
is the Loeb family.
Errol suggested about last year, he told me a story about his friend Gary Springer,
who was on, he was my my first publicist.
Oh my God.
Yes, and he was on our show earlier this year.
Yes, and as people know, he was in A Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino, playing a beautiful kid, teenager, and very dramatic and fabulous story of strength, you know, of his son, Nick Springer, who became, when I think he was going to camp or before college days. I'm not sure how it occurred, but I know he was infected with encephalitic meningitis. And at that time, there was no mandatory vaccine against meningitis.
I mean, for us, we have to get a vaccine. All kids.
Then it wasn't. And he, in about 3 or 4 weeks, he ended up in ER, and he lost his all arms and legs. And his sport was rugby. He was very good at rugby, and he had big dreams. So instead of just succumbing to this situation and becoming another unfortunate, individual.
He's a survivor.
He was a survivor.
Flourished.
He won a gold medal in Paralympics in Olympic Games in Beijing in 2009.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and Errol, Gary, and a couple, a few more people, including John Loeb, the ambassador of Denmark. All together, they went to Washington, and vaccine was approved as a mandatory for everybody going to college.
That's amazing.
So all that together, it made such impression on me. So I said, he has to be in my heroes collection, So when I had the exhibition in Soho, and Gary Springer came.
Yes, and you did a portrait of him for his birthday too?
Yes. And his wife, I think Susan, I forgot the name,
yes.
but a fabulous woman, yes. And they came, we were so honored, And then Errol, so I was going to gift the painting to Gary, and Errol and Gary talked, and they say, just wait. And then Errol calls me, and he said that they presented this to Ambassador John Loeb III, Junior III.
Junior III,
yes.
Right.
And
who he also is an art collector, by the way, right? We need to let them know that. Very serious.
Ambassador has one of the biggest Dutch collections in his possession.
And we got to see it last weekend. We were.
Помнишь? Yeah.
Yes. What an honor.
Yes, and it was such an honor to stand under original Renoir.
Yes, I know.
It was, in museums you cannot come that close to the painting.
No, it was magical.
No, I could actually see the little tiny, right? The dots.
You were taking pictures of brush strokes.
Yes, because this is my classic education only allowed me to see in the museum on a very long distance, far away,
What a privilege.
And I could actually feel it. I got so inspired, what I'm going to paint, the techniques I'm going to do next. But this was beyond my wildest dreams when Errol told me that Ambassador John Loeb is investing into my art.
And the story, what is so great is every one of your paintings has a story.
Yes. And also Errol is a part of the book that I don't know, he's
the Meningitis Society.
Yes, that's going to be presented, and they're going to use this painting as a cover. So.
I mean, you're changing people's lives. Your art is changing lives. Errol is changing. They're all changing people's lives.
And you were there. Sasha was there. Renee was there. Anya, our daughter too. She wasn't there yet.
Yes, she was coming.
But I want to say that how big of the role Sasha played in my. I call it coming back.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, David Bowie believed we live many different lives, and we're different characters in our lives. And now you are in the chapter of Sasha.
Yes.
And the two of you, tell it how you met, and then I also want to talk about Portrait of Freedom, your charity, which
Okay.
is so important, and
Yes.
the heroes.
How much time do I have to talk about us? Because I can go on for like 5 hours.
We have about
That's it.
5 minutes left.
Perfect. It's more than plenty. So it was right before pandemic. What is
Pandemic.
pandemic? And well, Sasha.
But I like pandemia is
yeah,
much better word.
pandemia. The coronavirus.
I know.
Which I also painted, by the way. I had in my exhibit this ginormous spiky thing flying
Right.
with Che Guevara's face on it. Yeah, but it was a time, I guess everything in life, I believe that something, it's like a big bang explosion and something great comes out. There was some new development, you know. So it was time, I got sick very hard, badly. I didn't know it was a coronavirus then, COVID-19. It was right end of the year of 2019.
Oh my goodness.
So apparently later, and then all my coworkers got sick. They just appeared from China, and I was.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I think so. We were working. It was in the garment business,
Right,
creating
right.
clothes, and I had to stay home. It was right before the New Year's. So then suddenly they all got sick. Place got, not functioning anymore, and I was thinking, what do I do? What do I do next? So I started looking for, I had a corporation called Taty Design Studio Inc., which was creating not portraits at the time, but prints for fabrics.
And you did your T-shirt.
T-shirt, but I was working with Dior. I did
Oh my
some,
goodness.
Oh yeah, this I did
Wow.
Dior
So
scarves.
textiles and
Textiles.
beautiful.
I did Loft and Taylor, which was on display of the windows on
wow.
Broadway.
Yes.
And many more, like Nordstrom's. And so I was thinking, what do I do? How do I go about it? And suddenly, everything just like halted. I don't know.
For all of us,
But
yeah.
it wasn't announced yet. It just, I think a lot of people got sick at the time. So anyway, I had to rent out I have a house, and I was like, I can't live in a two-family house by myself, so, and Renee, my daughter.
Right.
So I gave an ad in the newspaper to see if I can have any tenants, to rent a floor. And my neighbor was helping me with answering the phone, and she calls me. It was March 13th?
Yes.
March
March 13th.
Friday the 13th.
But that's a good one, right?
Yes, and the funny part is it was night, like very late evening, and Renee went to sleep, and I was going to sleep. No makeup, of course, no high heels. And suddenly my neighbor calls me and she said, you have to open the door. There's somebody literally at the door, just came from Russia, flew from Russia. And
boy, are his arms tired. No.
that didn't sound very fun. They его руки, наверное, были уставшие.
And this handsome man is on the other side of the
No,
door?
there was not handsome man in the front. I opened the door, but I looked at him. He was behind the guy. There was a man standing, but he was a normal man. And I looked behind him. I still couldn't see Sasha, but he was like, I'm looking for apartment for my friend to stay overnight. And I'm like, I'm not the hotel.
Right.
And then I got a little scared, and I picked out to see what kind of car he's driving, because if he's driving a nice, there was a very beautiful Jeep, so I'm like, okay. And then he said, no, my friend just arrived, he called him my friend. So anyway, Sasha stepped from behind him, and he had this big, duffel bag, and he said, well, I'm here only for a few days until I get he had an international driving license. He said, well, actually, I'm planning to drive through United States on a motorcycle as a tourist and see what I can see, and see what kind of business I can create.
And you painted that moment.
It was the motorcycle.
That's such a great painting.
I didn't even see it like that, but you saw it. Oh my God! So anyway, to make my 5 minutes shorter, I told him, look, I'm not gonna rent for overnight. Either you walk in, you know, you pay for 1 month at least, or, you know, he said, listen, I'm paying you for 1 month, and if I decide to stay more than like a week, we cover it. And if not, you can still keep the money. And I like the gesture. I was like, okay, you know. 3 days later, everything gets shut down.
Oh,
Motor
my
vehicles
goodness.
get shut down. People just, you know, what happened. And he was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I'm like,
You twinkled that smile.
No, I was like, okay, you know.
It was kismet.
We just
It was
deal with
fate,
it.
right?
Yeah. So.
I want to talk about Portrait of Freedom.
Yes,
Now, it was
Sasha,
your
I'll
idea.
translate.
Sasha, do you
Yes.
want to talk about it?
Расскажи про портрет свободы.
На русском, на украинском.
I just want to add one thing to our romantic story.
I love your romantic story.
When Sasha, we started, you know, that time was we only sat next to each other. He talked about his life. He's Ukrainian born, but he did his business. Sasha was on the cover of Russian Forbes as the
Wow.
youngest businessman from 2010 to 2015.
Wow.
And one of the most successful businesses. And in up north on Yamal, Sasha, as an engineer, he designed and built industrial plants
Wow.
for that dig natural gas and oil, high explosives. It's a humongous, I couldn't even comprehend. And when Sasha walked into the house, he looked, and I had one painting. It was self-portrait done in a style of Impressionism. And it was already like fading. And he said, can I please take this and hang it in my room?
Oh, how beautiful.
And it was like a piece of garbage. Just I threw it like I kind of forgot that I'm really a portraitist with all the running like a squirrel trying to make a living,
Right.
Make a design, make a living,
Yeah.
you know, New York.
Well, that's New York and the
yes.
arts, right?
And he actually, and I was like, sure. And he said, do you have any more? He grabbed everything I had in the basement, and he put it like a gallery in his room upstairs that he rented. And I walked in, and all together I was like, you know, I still, it was to me like, okay, it's me, my creation. I didn't
But
appreciate
you're birthing it. He's seeing it,
And
and he's you know, he sees what you're
He told
creating.
me, why don't you paint portraits? So that's when I painted him with the holding a helmet. I don't know if you have that picture.
I'll get it.
But
I'll get
send
where
it
I'm
to
going to
you.
put it on.
Yes, and it took me so long because it was like, you know, it's like coming back from like not childhood, my teenage years when I was doing portraits in
the park and
in the parks,
right.
and people were applauding, and they were like, "Oh my God, I see my wife there, I see my husband, I see my child."
How
You know, they
beautiful.
were like tears, and I was like, "Okay." He actually not only gave me my confidence as a painter back, but this drive, you know. And you say I work in different styles. I'm searching. I'm in search of myself. Like, for example, I can see you like right now. I would paint you like maybe in the style of Mona Lisa, you know. But when I painted you when you were
as Rita.
microphone,
Yeah.
it just like
It was
a
more
wind,
pop.
your energy, you know, and that's
And you can
impressionist.
see the energy on the canvas, and then on the Bentley for the car show.
Oh yeah, that's a sexy girl
So we were
there.
we were taking pictures, you know,
Yes.
outside.
Yes.
That is so amazing.
Portrait of Freedom.
Portrait of Freedom — это благотворительная организация, foundation.
Portrait of Freedom is the non-profit organization, 501c3. Yes.
Where is the charity going?
Children through art. That's
Beautiful.
our main.
That's our future.
We need to build center where all these children can physically come and they can see their artwork displayed.
Oh, beautiful.
And we want to have it's ginormous cultural center. So we open for donations. We
That's
open for
wonderful.
everything. But Sasha's strategy to start with online, по интернету, да, будет этот конкурс? Или физически в центре?
Рисунков
Да.
по интернету сначала, а потом будет проводиться
we
среди
want-
тех, кто победил в центре.
Yeah, we want to start as a open competition online
Oh, wonderful.
where children we have to set an age. I don't know.
Right.
We need to talk to maybe you or for advice. But children up to a certain age will be participating in a competition.
Oh, wonderful.
Submitting their art. We will have very mixed jurors, like an actress, an attorney, a child. Everybody, they will be mixed, so it will be
Like America's Got Talent, but,
yes,
but mixed.
yes. And then the finalists who win online, physically in the center, will be presenting their work, and they will be getting awards, maybe scholarships.
Oh, how beautiful.
And that's part one. And what is какая вторая часть?
Вторая цель, она же исходит из первой.
And the part two, which also actually comes out from part one, actually building, developing, and building centers, not just one, centers, cultural centers where art, children will be have art education. They will have a museum, and it will be all over United States eventually. And yes, and they will eventually not just fine art, but also music.
Beautiful.
And acting.
Well, we need all of that.
Yes,
We need
yes,
beauty.
Yes.
Taty, Sasha, they can go to your website, which is Taty Design.
No, we have actually Portrait of Freedom, right?
Okay.
We just, I created it myself. I just threw a few pages in, which
It's beautiful.
says what we stayed for, and there is a quote from John F. Kennedy, which if you go on portraitoffreedom.com, you'll see 3 pages. One is who are the board directors.
Of course.
But we have somebody professional, Sasha hired,
Great.
who is developing a very good website.
And for your art, where do they go?
For art, tatydesignstudio.com.
Thank you so much for joining us with Secrets of the Stage. I am Quinn Lemley. We air the first Sunday of every month at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on mnn.org on the Culture Channel. Or you can go to quinnlemley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. And if you'd like to be a guest or you have comments, please, connect with me at quinnlemley.com and also visit me at quinn-lemley on Instagram. I like to hear from you, and I want to hear your stories as well as mine. Until next time, I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage.